Hi, my name's Clayton, and I've started this channel to interview other entrepreneurs and document their success and their journey along the way to success. Some of them have had successful exits, and some of them are still building and scaling. Sold my e-learning company a couple of years ago for almost 8 figures to the largest private equity firm in North America. But before that, I was broke and struggling. At the same time, I was helping my clients get rich. I was in the artist phase of my entrepreneurial journey and I made it way harder than it needed to be. So I'm starting this channel in hopes of being able to help others achieve success without making it so hard. I'm going to be sharing what I learned, the big mistakes, the little mistakes, the small wins, the big wins. Because I have access to so many great entrepreneurs around the world through my memberships in EO and post-exit founders, I'm going to interview entrepreneurs of all stripes, and you will learn a lot from this channel by people I've already interviewed. I hope you will gain something from it and be able to use it in your career. My entrepreneurial journey started after leaving the U.S. Navy and spending a few years in corporate America. One of my clients gave me an opportunity to set up a technology staffing company. I immediately hired 4 engineers and had them all billable to other companies. The margins were really good back then. And one day I was sitting at a stoplight and I realized I'm making money just sitting here. And that gave me my entrepreneurial start. But then came the crash, the dot-com crash, and 9/11, lost almost everything overnight. The downturn in the market, it was a blip for most people, but for a young up-and-coming entrepreneur who had leveraged everything, it was devastating for the moment. The taste of success and humbling setback led me to realize that staffing wasn't as scalable as marketing and e-learning. I had an agency and I helped other businesses get products and brands online. I watched my clients make millions. And I knew that's the route I wanted to go, get something online, product, a brand, something I could sell nationally or internationally. Luckily, one of my smaller marketing clients who had become like family offered to sell me his e-learning company on a payment plan. I kept my consulting business and I worked out a deal with him that I could pay basically over time, a owner finance deal, and I bought his company. And within just a few years, I scaled it to multi-millions and I made it a nationally dominant brand. But before I started making money, I had many sleepless nights, setbacks, long working weekends, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I remember money being so tight in the first year or so that I had to ask my VAs to go part-time and let me pay them hourly instead of salary. And it was humbling that they said no. They kept working full-time. They just worked with me until we got through it. And within a few months, we got through it and we hit some great sales. The real breakthrough came after going through an intensive Shopify SEO Facebook marketing training. I was creating relevant keyword pages. I was creating pristine product pages. I was creating ads that converted. Next thing you know, my brand was everywhere. I had 360 words ranking in the top 1, 2, and 3 positions on Google. And I had overnight become omnipresent. Even when I'd go to trade shows, my competitors would be like, how are you all over the internet like this? I don't understand. And I just played dumb. I was just working my butt off getting every one of my keywords to rank in the top 3 positions. I was paying money for SEO and backlinks and for Facebook ads, which were very cheap back then, but my competition was not willing to spend money on ads. They were not willing to spend money on SEO. They were not willing to spend money on backlinks. And that's the differentiator. Now everybody's that's smart is doing that. But back then, they thought that spending money on the internet was foolish. And they tried it once with an agency and it didn't work. And they never tried again. I got to win because of that. I put all my time, effort, energy into ranking and reinvested into myself and my business. And that's where a lot of small, scrappy firms end up winning. And when you pay attention to what converts to what ranks and you invest in that, you can win. And so what I'm going to be highlighting for you now is the things that are working now are the old or new again. It used to be, we went through a period of founders have to get on the videos, founders have to get on social media and be on TikTok. Well, guess what? The old things that were working before are now working. SEO is now being picked up by ChatGPT. So if you're ranking high in SEO, you can get picked up by ChatGPT. AI is now taking back over to what was previously the last couple of years looked at as not necessary, ranking in SEO, keyword ranking, backlinks. Now it's become relevant again. So you don't have to be the founder on TikTok and on Insta and making yourself look like a fool because you're not comfortable on camera. You can now go back to ranking on SEO, and now you can get picked up on ChatGPT. We'll go into that on some of our videos, but I knew I was going to be okay one day when I realized I was making tens of thousands of dollars each day in sales. And I wasn't even doing all the pre-sales or phone call work anymore. People were coming to my website, my product pages, and putting in their credit cards to spend thousands of dollars without talking to me. That's because I had made the product pages good. I had put my Google reviews all over the place. Everybody trusted me as soon as they came in, but I also made some incredibly expensive mistakes over the last few years. I calculate that I misspent probably $400,000 in bad decisions. The worst was a product launch that I joint ventured with some entrepreneurs. I didn't know anything about the product or industry. My partners were excited about the product and they were like, come on along for the ride. I went against my gut and I lost $250,000. I took my attention off my main bread and butter, my main business. That was the worst thing that could happen. I see it happen a lot. You get bored and tired with your same old, you're making good money and you're like, let me go start up another thing here. That's the wrong thing to do. You better know everything about it and it better dovetail in quite nicely with your current business. Otherwise, it's a distraction. I also got caught up in entrepreneur scams, funnels, and spent money on services, people, and products that didn't work, that were too expensive. You can learn anything you want on YouTube for free. You don't need to hire a consultant if you have time to learn something on YouTube. This is coming from somebody now who I help people. I'm very expensive and I help companies scale. I help companies rewrite the ship. I help companies prepare for exit. You can learn all that on YouTube if you have time. But when you're hiring somebody, make sure you're hiring somebody with a good reputation and a track record of success. I spent a lot of money on people and things that didn't matter. They have to have good reviews and a presence on YouTube. Thus, why I'm creating this pod so that now I have a intro to YouTube and everybody will know who I am. I already have 5 interviews in the can. I got great entrepreneurs I've already interviewed and I can't wait to share them with the world. And I'll be posting them after this. So currently I own an agency called Leadly, where I help businesses with sales and lead generation using AI automations. My background is in SEO, content, and ads. Now I'm back in the game of helping other businesses and founders scale. I also do consulting for companies and founders looking to exit in the next year or 2 or 3. We do an AI top-down approach on implementation. So AI automation on the bottom and making little automations work easily. That's smart. But what really helps a founder is having an AI second brain, they call it, or an AI operating system. You want to create an AI companion to the CEO that takes 20 to 40 hours of time to create the AI, to program the AI, to give it the prompts. And that's what I also help founders and executives do today. I have an AI training company at buildandscale.com where we teach entrepreneurs and founders how to train AI to be their second brain or their co-CEO, CMO, co-CFO. There's a lot of benefit to implementing AI at the bottom level and creating all these little automations that automate your workflow, and that's smart. But the executive and founder needs a master prompt that knows them intimately, knows the way they think, knows their goals, desires, competition, and that takes 20 to 40 hours to implement if you do it right. And that's what I'm helping founders do now at Build and Scale. My expertise is with founders who are doing $500,000 to doing 20, 30 mil. And they're stuck in the day-to-day operations. They built a great business, but they struggle with sales and marketing and operational stability, getting the data and KPIs they need to make informed decisions. And that's where most entrepreneurs get trapped. They built something really great, but they can't get themselves out of the decision-making process, or they can't get the data they need out of their business. If they're not looking for founder freedom, they don't need to be tied to their desk every day. They should have all the data and processes they need to be successful. I saw that right away. When we were building and scaling, I implemented processes and I took a military style approach at SOPs. And this is what I help founders do today. And we use it heavily on AI and putting in place SOPs to give founder freedom, give founders an exit ability, and a higher multiple and valuation. So through this series, you're going to hear from a bunch of entrepreneurs who have successfully scaled, sold multiple businesses, raised capital, hired teams, and created valuable partnerships and joint ventures. They'll share what worked or what didn't work, what cost money, and what they'd do differently if they had to start over again today. My unique angle in this channel is that I'm surrounded by a bunch of entrepreneurs who have done exactly what you're trying to do. And they have bought, built, sold, scaled multi-million-dollar businesses. So my goal is to get as much learning out of them as I can and share with you. The one mindset shift that's been most critical to my success is learning to create a vision and process for what I want to achieve and what I think is achievable for the business. Set clear goals and KPIs for the team. Hire the right team to implement the process, and then get out of their way. I learned that the superstars, the A players, you allow them the tools and empower them, they can take you far. Just get out of their way. So through these interviews, I'm going to ask founders what they did to make them successful, the mistakes they made, and I'll ask every one of them if they had to start over again today, what would they do? So I'll answer that for myself. If I had to start over today, I would literally go and work for free until I could get enough reviews and enough accolades to whatever it is I'm doing, then I could start charging for whatever price I wanted to. So I don't care if you're an e-com person, you're a media person, you're doing whatever product or service, you need to get the reviews, to get the audience, to get people to say that you are good at what you do. And when you do that, you can build a business. If you're an established entrepreneur who's stuck in the operations of your business and you're ready to scale to the next level, subscribe to this channel. You'll get real actionable insight for entrepreneurs who have successfully made the transition. And if you're ready to implement AI into your business, check out our training on buildandscale.com. And if you're looking to prepare for an exit or founder freedom, go to ClaytonTurnerOfficial.com. And for B2B companies who are looking for marketing and sales, Leadly.com is where I help companies in their sales and marketing. Join my free school community at school.com/Leadly. Follow me on X, Mr. R. Clayton Turner, Instagram at R. Clayton Turner. And remember, like and subscribe. And let's dive into these conversations and help you break through to your next level of success.